Today, we will learn about Chapter 2 for Security Policies and Procedures. As you know, security procedures are important to ensure that security policies, security standards, and other security baselines are all in order. For today's learning course outline, we will learn about how to explain the common threats and attacks using various tools and techniques for secure environment in organization for the CLO1 as well as for the CLO2 to perform personal skills with proposed documentation in troubleshooting and solving on security issues. Here are the references that you need to take into consideration for certification study and also for CompTIA Security all-in-one exam guide. Next is about the description of security policy. There are 5 kinds of subtopics that you have to learn. For example, security policy, the security policy requirements, usernames and passwords, password requirements, and files and folder permission. Let's look at the part of introduction of security policy. We can see here about the written documents that states how the organization plans, and this security policy also accompanying the procedure, standards and guidelines to ensure that all the information security are implemented. Also, we have to look at the security supports. You can look at the procedure. Next is about the attributes of security policy, which encompasses the compliances, consequences of not following policy, material and method to implement, desired results from standards and guidelines. Here is the example of features of security policy. There are 4 kinds of features which involve provide protections organizations, avoid mistrust and apathy towards compliance of the policy, introduce risk that needs to be mitigated in another way, and simply language easy and simple to apply. Alright, I think we can stop it here. Thank you. Okay, these are the security policy requirements. Involve password management, email use, internet use, social networking site, and mobile computing, as well as information. I think we can see about the components of a good security policy. Okay, there are 11 or 13 parts. You can read it for your own. And the benefits of security policy, which involve communicates a vision of common for security throughout our company, represent a single easy to use source, and exists as a flexible document, should be updated, okay, in order to address new security. Here are the security requirements, and the physical, okay, the following physical security until auditing are important to ensure the effective security policy. Alright, these are the top paying certifications in 2022. And when we come to the creating a policy, you must consider the following questions. For example, is the computer located at home or business? Is there any full-time internet access? And is there any computer or laptop? Alright, next we can see at the 8 areas, right, or 8 key areas to address, which includes a process for handling network until authentication technologies. So we can see also the GAO analysis for the total information security threats that happen, involves attrition, involve other improper usage, email, phishing, loss or theft of equipment, web, as well as multiple vectors. Right, this is about usernames and password. Okay, this username and password is important because when we provide guidelines, okay, it is about how they can log into a computer, and they can also prevent theft of the data. Okay, we have to consider about the length and strong password, complexity, variation, and variety. We have to choose a strong password. It is very important. And screensaver required password, permission level, file and folder permission, and this have to convert from FAT32 to NTFS. Alright, this is the example how FAT32 and NTFS comparison happen. The principles of least privilege, the restriction user permissions, and these are the part of security policy that includes procedures and data. Right, there are three parts of several security procedures that have to consider, which involve security policies, data protection, and protecting against software. Okay, next we will move to the software firewalls, biometrics, smart cards, backups, and data encryption. Okay, this is the example of firewall software. For the system security and Windows firewall, we use the format of port 80 by default. The biometric and smart cards, do you know what is biometric and smart cards? Okay, normally we use to detect the face, the voice recognition, and also retina. This is the example of image of data protection examples. And last part of the data protection example is about biometric and smart card. Also data backups. Okay, this is important because they can protect against data loss. Okay, and then also can avoid from the loss because of disaster, and restore from the back of functional hardware. This is good for you to understand the encryption technology. The definition of encryption also involves the conversion of masking of information to prevent unauthorized parties from accessing it. This encryption is an indicator. Okay, it's an indicator or identifier to turn cipher text into your desired output. Okay, this is about like passwords, then they are virtually impossible to decipher without expert computational resource and description experience. Right, you can see here about the shared key, and then for symmetric and asymmetric. The differences here we can see about the process of encryption itself. In asymmetry, they have public key and also private key. Cipher set we can use for unreadable by human computer without the proper cipher to. And decryption is also the inverse of encryption, which is the process of turning cipher set into readable text. And next part is about cryptanalysis. You have to investigate it, and I will give you the exercises, include uses of encryption and software features for encryption, and how to protect your data with encryption. This diagram is important for you, and thank you. All the best. One example and one quotes here we can think and take into consideration is about real security and also a password. It is like a toothbrush. Okay, just choose a good one. Don't share it with anyone, and change it occasionally.